Poseidon, the mighty god of the sea, is one of Greek mythology's most prominent and revered figures. Son of Cronus and Rhea, Poseidon is known for his immeasurable strength and power. As ruler of the oceans and seas, he is responsible for maintaining the balance between the waters and the lands and is the eternal protector of sailors. The Trident, his characteristic weapon, is a symbol of his dominion and authority over the seas. With it, he can provoke storms and tidal waves, as well as calm the waters and guarantee the safety of maritime travelers. In time immemorial, long before the Olympian gods ruled the world, an epic battle was fought between gods and titans, known as the Titanomachy. Zeus, Hades, and Poseidon united to overthrow the Titans and claim their place on the throne of the cosmos. In the underworld, in Tartarus, dwelt the Cyclops and the Hecatonchires, brothers of the Titans, condemned to a grim fate. The one-eyed giants were skilled blacksmiths and masters in the art of forging. The Hecatonchires, on the other hand, were creatures of 100 hands and 50 heads, mighty warriors with incomparable strength. Both were imprisoned under the yoke of Camp, the relentless jailer who delighted in their suffering. The three brothers, Zeus, Hades, and Poseidon, decided to free the Cyclops and the Hecatonchires to win their support in the war against the Titans. However, the gods did not have powerful weapons to face their enemies. Then the Cyclops, in a desperate attempt to escape from their prison, proposed a daring plan to the gods. Each of the Cyclops would forge a part of a divine weapon, working in secret while Camp was distracted. Once the parts were completed, they would assemble them and deliver them to the gods. Thus, the Cyclops created the Master Lightning Bolt for Zeus, the Helm of Darkness for Hades, and the mighty Trident for Poseidon. With the new weapons in their hands, the gods felt invincible and filled with a power never before experienced. Together, they freed the Cyclops and the Hecatonchires from Camp's clutches, who gratefully joined the fight. The battle was fierce and merciless. Armed with their new divine tools, the gods confronted the Titans with renewed impetus. Finally, after a titanic struggle, the gods achieved victory. The Titans were defeated and confined in Tartarus, and the world was divided among the victorious gods. Thus, with the power of the weapons forged by the Cyclops, the gods established their dominion over the world. Zeus, the undisputed leader, ruled the heavens and the earth, while his brothers, Poseidon and Hades, were yet to receive their respective domains. Poseidon chose the realm of the seas, thus becoming the lord of the oceans, while Hades was given the intriguing and dark underworld. From that day on, Poseidon ruled with justice and wisdom over the oceans, protecting its inhabitants and ensuring that the waters were a haven of life and abundance. Mortals, aware of Poseidon's power and benevolence, paid homage to him in temples and altars erected in his honor. Sailors implored his protection before embarking on long voyages, and fishermen offered him sacrifices to ensure an abundant catch. Although his domain was vast and his subjects numerous, Poseidon felt an emptiness in his heart, longing for someone to share his life and his throne. One day, while riding over the waves in his chariot drawn by swift horses, Poseidon caught sight of a young sea nymph of incomparable beauty. Her name was Amphitrite, daughter of Nereus and Doris, and sister of the 50 Nereids. The Lord of the Seas was spellbound by her beautiful figure, grace, and delicacy, and immediately knew he wanted to spend the rest of his existence by her side. Although he was a god and his desire seemed unattainable for any mortal, Poseidon decided to court Amphitrite with respect and delicacy. He approached her and said, "I have never seen anyone as beautiful as you before. Will you join me in my palace and share my life as my wife and queen of the oceans?" Amphitrite, surprised by the proposal, fled in terror from the presence of the god, for she did not wish to be involved with him. She felt so afraid that she sought the farthest place in the world to hide from Poseidon's desires. Being the consort of a god was a great honor, but also a great responsibility. She did not feel prepared for such an event, so she preferred to flee forever. However, the god would not rest until he possessed the young nymph, because he had fallen in love with her. So he sent one of his loyal lackeys, a dolphin, to look for the woman. After some time, conversing with Poseidon's astute servant, The beautiful maiden accepted the proposal of the powerful god and soon became his wife. As thanks for the dolphin's intervention, the god raised him to the heavens and turned him into a beautiful constellation. Their wedding was celebrated with great pomp and magnificence, with gods and sea creatures alike attending the ceremony. The love between Poseidon and Amphitrite blossomed, and together they ruled the seas, pledging their love for all eternity. Over the years of their union, several children were born, including the mighty god Trident, half man and half fish, and the beautiful sea nymphs Rhoda and Bentessacine. Over time, the kings of the deep faced numerous challenges and adventures, but their love never wavered. They always supported each other, and their relationship became a symbol of love and devotion in the world of gods and mortals. News reached Poseidon's ears that a prosperous city was looking for a god or goddess protector. The gods of Olympus, aware of the importance of this city, soon became interested in it and its devoted citizens. The mighty lord of the seas, and Athena, the goddess of wisdom and strategy, were especially attracted to the metropolis. Both longed to become its protector and rule over its inhabitants. However, as time went on, they could not agree on who would be the chosen one, which led to growing tension between them. Zeus, seeing the great uproar the gods were causing, proposed a solution. "I propose a competition. Each will present a gift to the citizens of the city, and they will decide which of the two gifts is more valuable. The one who offers the most appreciated gift will become the eternal protector of the city." Poseidon and Athena accepted the challenge and hurriedly made their way to the city to present their offerings, both confident of their great gifts. The citizens, eager to witness the confrontation between two of Olympus' most powerful gods, gathered in the great square. The imposing Poseidon, with his sparkling trident, was the first to present his offering to the city. With an energetic blow of his trident, he opened a huge crack in the ground, from which a beautiful spring of water gushed forth. The earth trembled at such a splendorous gift. "Behold my offering!" exclaimed Poseidon. "A spring of water that will flow forever, symbolizing my dominion over the seas and my power to control the waves and storms." The citizens watched in amazement as water gushed from the rock, but soon realized that Poseidon's spring produced only salt water, of little use for their daily needs. Then came the turn of Athena, the goddess with clear eyes and majestic bearing. With a wave of her hand, she made an olive tree grow in the center of the square. "This is my gift, an olive tree that will provide you with oil to cook and light your homes. You will also get wood to build and keep warm, and its leaves will serve as a symbol of peace and wisdom," Athena announced, smiling. The inhabitants of the city contemplated the olive tree and soon understood the value of this gift. Unlike Poseidon's saltwater spring, the towering tree offered a wide variety of practical and lasting benefits. After deliberating among themselves, the citizens chose Athena's gift as the most valuable gift. Grateful for her generosity and wisdom, they proclaimed the goddess of wisdom as their protector, and thus renamed their city in her honor, renaming it Athens. Poseidon, although disappointed and wounded in his pride, accepted the decision of the citizens with resignation. However, he promised that the waters surrounding the city would always be treacherous and difficult to navigate, as a reminder of his power and the bad decision he felt the citizens had made. Moreover, he vowed revenge on the goddess for her audacity in daring to compete against him. Even so, the god of the oceans did not lose recognition among mortals, and his worshippers grew in number, offering him great banquets and sacrifices worthy of admiration, with which Poseidon granted favors to his most faithful devotees. Until one night, afflicted, Minos, son of the king of Crete, implored the lord of the seas to make rise from the waves a great majestic bull, the most imposing and splendid of all the bulls on earth, promising him that, if he did so, he would sacrifice the animal in his honor. Flattered by the mortal's request, Poseidon agreed without hesitation, hoping to receive the grandiose offering on his behalf. Overjoyed by the god's support, Minos went in search of his brothers to convince them that the throne belonged to him by divine right, for the gods themselves would support him. Angered by the audacity of the ambitious man, his brothers Zarpedon and Radamanto demanded proof. Minos took them to the beach, where he had already gathered a large number of people, and before the crowd, a miracle occurred. The young man raised his arms towards the sea, and from the waters emerged a gigantic white bull, dazzling all those present. Amazed and astonished, Zarpedon and Radamanto had no other choice and ceded the throne to their brother, recognizing him as the new king of Crete. However, once crowned, the new monarch found himself unable to fulfill his promise to Poseidon, for the bull was so beautiful and impressive that he could not bear the thought of sacrificing it. Instead, he decided to keep it in his kingdom and unite it with his livestock. And to deceive the god, Minos sacrificed another of similar bull, offering its flesh on a great altar in the name of Poseidon. The king of the sea was immediately aware of the grave treachery that the ambitious man had committed and, furious, began to plan his revenge, which would be relentless and terrible. As time passed, the king met and married Pasiphae, daughter of Helios and the nymph Perseus. Pasiphae, known for her great beauty and extraordinary magical abilities, became the queen of Crete. And as the years went by, Minos forgot his offense against Poseidon, but the god of the ocean waited patiently for the right moment to carry out his cruel revenge. Until, one dark and cold night, Poseidon infiltrated the palace of the flamboyant kings, while they slept soundly, and in a matter of seconds cast a terrible spell on Pasiphae. The next morning, everything seemed normal, and the queen went out for her usual stroll through the vast countryside. When she came across her husband's splendid white bull, she went over to pet him, as she was wont to do on other occasions. However, on touching the soft, delicate skin of the animal, the woman felt a slow shiver and an intriguing, irresistible attraction to him. Consumed by an uncontrollable desire, the monarch sought help to satisfy her baser instincts with the white bull, for at that moment her desire was uncontainable. The queen turned to the ingenious craftsman Daedalus, who, at Pasiphae's request, built a wooden cow in which she could hide to deceive the white bull. Thus, soon after her request, and with great demands, she had in her hands the curious artifact. The woman succeeded in consummating her forbidden desire, and unfortunately from this union was born the monstrous Minotaur, a hideous creature half man, half bull. Upon discovering the existence of the Minotaur, Minos realized that he had been punished for his betrayal of Poseidon. Ashamed and fearful of the consequences, the king ordered Daedalus to build an intricate and almost impenetrable labyrinth to enclose the Minotaur and hide it from the world. As the days passed, the peace and prosperity of the kingdom were severely affected, and king, consumed with guilt, desperately sought a way to make amends for his mistake and appease the wrath of the vengeful god. The years passed and Poseidon never forgot the humiliation he received from Athena, so, taking advantage of an impasse in the temple of the goddess, he took his longed-for revenge. In those days, all the gods of Olympus, expectant and curious, witnessed the busy events in the sacred temple of Athena, for they could not avoid directing their gazes toward a young girl of extraordinary beauty named Medusa, who served as a priestess. The god of the sea, sensing Athena's growing anger and jealousy towards the girl, saw in this a perfect opportunity to take revenge on his old rival. The god of the deep sea longed to discredit both Medusa and Athena, for he knew that the goddess was extremely demanding of her priestesses and that any mistake or fault on their part would reflect negatively on her reputation. Poseidon meticulously studied the movements of the beautiful woman for several days, waiting for the right moment to carry out his plan. As time passed, the god was captivated by the great beauty of the young priestess, who longed to hold her in his arms. One morning, while Medusa was strolling along the beach as usual, she heard a deep, gravelly voice calling her name. Startled, she looked around and saw the imposing figure of Poseidon emerging from the waves. The girl was paralyzed before the presence of the divine being, while he tried to seduce her with intensity. Despite her efforts, Medusa remained firm in her vows as the priestess of Athena and refused to succumb to Poseidon's insinuations. Extremely enraged, the god took her by the arm and told her that she had no choice, that he would make her his right there and then. Terrified, the young woman managed to free herself from his grip and ran desperately towards the immaculate temple in search of refuge. But the Lord of the Seas did not give up and, consumed by desire, chased Medusa into the temple. With tears in her eyes, the young woman implored the protection of her goddess, as she knelt at the feet of Athena's statue. The mighty god burst into the temple and, seeing the young girl next to the altar of his enemy, his lust blinded him. Without hesitation, he ran towards her and grabbed her forcefully, while Medusa struggled futilely to escape. At the altar of the goddess, the king of the seas defiled the devoted priestess of his rival. Satisfied with his revenge, he left the temple, leaving behind him the sullied purity of Athena's sanctuary and Medusa, the most faithful of his servants, destroyed. When Athena discovered what had happened, she went to her temple in a rage and, instead of taking pity on the girl, she blamed her for having desecrated her sacred precinct. The goddess reproached Medusa that her beauty and vanity had provoked the lasciviousness of men, and that this had led Poseidon to abuse her. Upon hearing the goddess' harsh words, the woman felt ashamed and, instead of defending her honor, she blamed herself for what had happened. Blinded by her anger, the goddess of wisdom decided to punish Medusa cruelly and permanently. She transformed her into a horrifying and disgusting monster, similar to her sisters, the Gorgons. In addition, Aphrodite, taking advantage of the occasion, turned Medusa's beautiful hair into poisonous snakes. Disconsolate and terrified, Medusa lay on the floor of the temple, stripped of her purity and looking abominable. With her heart full of pain and despair, thanks to the wickedness of Poseidon, the king of the oceans.